Oh, loves, we're going to go into some divine masculine messages today. I'm going to encourage you to watch these for your internal energies as well as external connections, because there's a lot of crisscrossing happening, a lot of mirroring, especially in this eclipse corridor. So, whatever messages come through, they could be relevant and supportive for you no matter how you identify. All right. With this, I'm going to talk to you about some of the extremes that are coming in. So, over the last few days, it started coming up connected to this message that came in about 8, 9 months ago, connected to a masculine who claimed that they created this separation with divine feminine out of their own wounding because when they felt divine feminine's pain around losing them, that reassured them that the feminine loved them. So it created a form of security, obviously not in a secure attachment, but it created that sort of energy within them where they felt safe. Obviously, not a very healthy way to deal with things. But I'll put that video in the pinned comment in case any of you want to go back and listen to that again. Anyway, that energy is coming up, but now it's also vacillating to the other extreme where there's a masculine who is like going in and out of like knight, king, and emperor energy. It feels like they're flip-flopping, going through a transformation. And some of these old behaviors or patterns are what are up for review for the masculines that resonate with this energy. And so, yeah, we're just going to see what comes up with that because even as I say that, I can feel where some of like the glitching is happening because, well, all of those behaviors, all of those aspects can be the same person. And I actually recently had a question from a divine feminine because we've been talking about divine feminine embodiment. And she specifically was talking about where it can feel difficult at times to embody all of the different aspects of femininity, from the dark feminine to the sensual feminine to the nurturing feminine or like the warrior feminine. So we have all of these aspects just as human beings, right? But for the sake of this video, we're going to break it down to what's going on with the masculines and the feminines in this mirror point. So it's part of the transformation. And the thing is it's really connected to actually embracing and embodying all of those parts of yourself, just like we work on embracing the inner child or our shadow work. And before I got on this video, just thinking about it, I was feeling like this awkward, uncomfortable energy. So it feels that collectively, this eclipse corridor is really driving this for the collective in general. And we are being asked to really look at what is true for us, what is authentic, and also looking at ways that we can more deeply take these all these aspects of ourselves and allow them to work together. So, one of the things, if any of you guys are going with this, like if you have these two aspects that actually almost feel opposing, like again, you have like the nurturing, caring energies, and then that like warrior or warrioress energy. But think of this in terms of using all of those aspects and accepting all of those aspects and letting them express at appropriate times. So, an example would be if you saw a baby in a stroller rolling down the street with no one holding it, you would probably jump into warrior and warrioress mode and go get the stroller and save the baby, right? You'd be in full on. I just saw this vision of you guys like doing sprints and tumbles to get to the baby, right? Using all your energy, all your strength, all your fight. But then, yet, when you get to the baby and the baby's crying, you can immediately, once everyone's safe, flip into nurturing, caring, protecting, providing mode. You see what I mean? So there's different levels and layers, and there are things that you probably actually just do instinctively. It's more so about when you sit back and you're feeling all of those feelings at once. Envision having a big council table and let all of the different aspects of you come to the table: your shadow self, your inner child, your warrioress, your sensual self, your warrior self, whatever that is. Let all of those parts of you come to the table and let everybody have an opportunity to speak, because all of those parts of you are pieces that you need. In fact, the ones you're developing and wanting to embody more are going to be the combo of all of those pieces of you. Because as we move into those emperor or empress energies, we're not avoiding any parts of ourselves. We're not avoiding the shadows. We're not avoiding the wounding. We're not avoiding the darkness. We're not avoiding the strength, but we're also not avoiding the softness or the stillness. You see what I mean? So it's about actually embracing all of these parts, even maybe prior wounding, like I started this video out with, and being able to forgive ourselves. And if there are masculines out there or any feminines that can identify with this idea of feeling safer in separation, knowing that someone cares about you, then opening up and making yourself vulnerable in a relationship, I think probably most people can relate to that at some point. Maybe that's not the long-term goal, but those of you here, probably a majority of you have been in some form of a separation phase in your life. And some of that was really needed in order for you to transform and process what was happening. But again, there's also that like safety net of like, okay, I know I got this person. I know they love me and I love them, but we can go over here and work in our own corners. And sometimes that's appropriate, but then sometimes it also becomes a defense mechanism where we're avoiding the deeper levels of truth within ourselves. And this seems to be the exact pocket that both divine masculine and divine feminine are being called to address during this eclipse corridor. With that, another message that's coming through is, what have you been silently carrying that you can no longer carry with you forward on the other side of this eclipse season? Because we have the next eclipse coming up in a few days. And this is an opportunity to really let these energies come to the surface, let the aspects integrate where you've been hiding, where you were uncertain of how to work with those parts of yourselves. Take those extremes, sit with them, embrace both parts. Let yourself have a conversation with both parts, because all of those extremes of who you are all have an important perspective. And the more of your energy that you can integrate for yourself, the more wisdom, the more tools, the more energy you have available. And so this is taking me into any residual places and spaces where you still may be projecting onto one another as external beings, and working with tempering any of those energies within yourself. So, anywhere you might still be feeling frustrated with the masculine or the external feminine or external masculine, where are you still feeling frustrated with yourself? Okay. So, I'm going to pick some cards because I know that I just said a lot, and I want to see obviously what's going to be the most supportive for you moving forward with what we just spoke about. Okay. Lost in space, needing direction. And this is what we're exactly talking about. I know I just brought through some ideas for you, but I want to ask the higher power, your higher power, the higher selves, the source of our creation, what are some of the most beneficial messages I can bring forward for you at this time connected to this energy? Okay. Okay. So this is about it's coming down to the embodiment, right? This is the embodiment of the aspects and allowing those to integrate and come together. So this energy, just, yes, it's why I'm quiet. What I feel in this is the lost energy. I feel this is like, it's almost like the lights got turned out. What is it about the embodiment that the collective is needing support with? Just give me a moment. What is the most beneficial thing that I can share? All right. There's almost this feeling of like not trying so hard is what's coming through. Now I feel tears. Okay. Ooh, there. Okay. This is feeling like you're trying to embody, but there's still something like in the way. There's something in the heart that is feeling, it's one, two, three, four. Something in the heart that is wanting to open in order to make this space for you to come in. Okay. What can I do with this? Timelessness, dance of life. This, when I feel these energies, it feels like there's a really big gap between where you are and where you want to be. Or it feels like there's a big gap. But what's coming in is the gap is not actually as big as it feels when you bring all of those pieces of you to the table. Okay. So there is something really important with allowing all of the aspects to come forward and letting yourself sit with those energies. And wow. Yeah, this just feels really important, to be honest. It feels really important and quite intense. And it's like where the higher energy wants to come in, the aspects want to integrate. Once they integrate, you'll feel that click in. And then it's like embodied and moving towards that circle of eternal joy. Okay. Really, this makes sense because the embodiment of you into you is the inner union that is embodying the sacred union energies. What I feel most importantly is that you have most of the pieces, if not all of the puzzle pieces. It's just actually expanding and creating enough space to let those click into place. Okay, my loves, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this was helpful. Bye.